my baby. Go home, my baby. My baby, baby, I'm going home. Baby, baby, I'm going home. Let me baby, I feel so good to roam. Go home, my baby. Go home, my baby. Go home, my baby. Rock on. Ship my baby right. My baby right. And the baby I feel so good tonight. Oh, oh, she my baby. I go home, darling. She my baby. Oh, baby, hunt you, she my wife. Oh, tell me, baby, where it gets rolling down. Oh, tell me, baby, where it gets rolling down. They're gonna have more fun. Baby, you don't go. Baby, you don't go.
You don't think I've done this before? Come on, man. You want to talk tough with Joe? This is not my first rodeo, all right? I've been on this dance floor before. You dance with the one who brung you, right? You put your right foot in, put your left foot in. You put your right foot in, you shake it all about. You do the hokey pokey. Come on, man. That's what it's all about. Get out of my face.
To the gas prices.
Good.
We're going through an incredible transition that is taking place that, God willing, when it's over, will be stronger and the world will be stronger and less reliant on fossil fuels.
Right.
When this is over. You see what Europe is doing relative to the importation of Russian gas.
Whoa, 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 burn on the brakes. Welcome, welcome, boys and girls, children of all ages, hoofties, boofties, bonnet heifers, right and left wing wackos, woodchuck and chuckettes, kings and queens of the Northeast Kingdom to another version of It's News to Us. And due to some technical difficulties with our TriCaster, our engineer is standing by on hand, running, physically manning a camera here in studio. So it's kind of like an in-between. We're in studio, but we're kind of like doing a show that I did with the pandemic, but that was only one camera. And hopefully, thankfully, Terry Philo has been good enough. Philo T. Farnsworth, College of Musical Knowledge. You can see his drum videos at YouTube at Terry DeFazio. Philo's been good enough to physically man the camera and zoom in a couple times when, if needed. So,
who are we and where are we?
Who are we?
I'm gonna zoom in now, Steve.
It's kind of like Wayne's World, but not quite. It's a little.
Wayne's World on crack.
Yeah. We're going back to the future, folks. You are watching It's News to Us. We're Newport's oldest TV news. What's just new? Heel new brown cow, as locals say. We got adult themes and adult language. Not really. We just have to warn you, that's all. And what's this one? Oh, beware of the Bronze Age visible sky god. Gonna beat you and forgive you, and beat you and forgive you, just like in the old testicle. And here's our...
if you put it upside down, it wouldn't matter.
Yeah. Yeah, get off my lawn. We saw him in Japan. We saw him last night. He could have come out and led the nation in mourning the death of these poor kids. Some freak, I'll get to that, this freak in Texas. And but no, he gets out and he starts harping on gun control. What's this one say? Oh yeah, the cadaver in chief, that's him. And we're censored off YouTube, so you can see us on Rumble. Thanks again to Philo, our engineer. But yeah, another freak. Now, there have been, what you got to do, what happens every time something like this happens, they go to, they leave a trail on social media. Because let's face it, these kids these days, they're all on their computers all the time.
And their phones, which are now computers.
Yeah, as a matter of fact, Alex Berenson in the email today, he said that these kids nowadays, they're a bunch of over-medicated, lonely, sleepless social media addicts, and half of them are on Adderall, Ritalin, and Vyvanase, whatever. and they're doping the crap out of kids. They're spending half their lives playing violent, in-person shoot-'em-up video games, where these video games are disgusting.
Oh yeah, I've seen some of them.
Oh, it's like a bad splatter horror movie, So they spend all their time watching bug splat videos, and then we wonder why they go out and shoot them up. Now, it seems like this kid, I don't know. From what I saw, I went on the net right away. As soon as I had his name, I went on the net, and I had to use a real search engine like DuckDuckGo, because even Start Page or the old Xquick in Google, I forget about them, they will censor you. They won't let you see certain stuff. Or they'll put it way on the end of page 5 at the end of a search, right? So I went on DuckDuckGo right away as soon as I get the kid's name. And sure enough, man, some people said it could have been fake, but these people had supposedly captured posts from his Instagram account where he was reaching out to this girl. He said he was going to do something horrific. He said he was going to tell you by 11 p.m. This was the night before. And he had pictures of the two M16s or AR-15s that he had bought a week ago, of all things.
He just turned 18, yeah.
Yeah, and supposedly he was enrolled in school, but he never went. And there were pictures of him dressed as a woman. So who knows? It could have been a gag picture from Halloween. He could have been trans. Who the hell knows these days? Especially when you've got schools pushing this trans stuff and not notifying the parents and doing it on the down low and in secret and stuff too. And then he shoots his own grandmother in the face. Then goes to the school. There was a cop there, from what I hear now. He engaged in a shoot-'em-up with the cop, and the cop was injured. I don't know what happened. The cop was injured, but the cop left, and he went in the front door. He went to the first classroom, and I don't know what kind of a sick person you are to shoot people to begin with outside of wartime or self-defense, but to start shooting up kids, you have to be the sickest human on the planet. And the fact that thank goodness, the Texas, the ICE agent or whatever he is, the Border Patrol specialized unit, whatever they call him, he took the kid out. So that was it. Why they didn't do that in Buffalo and spare us the trial and all that crap, I don't know. Take him out. You kill, you die. It's that simple.
I think what they try to do is they want to find out why something happened, but who really knows?
But here's the thing, Terry. They mentioned that when they were all yapping last night on every show. It was like you talk about fear porn. It was shooting porn last night, and they were saying, look, we did this in the 80s with the hostage response teams and stuff like that. They created a special psych unit at the FBI to profile the certain people and look for them, and take them apart mentally. Why they don't do this in this case, obviously, is they can't keep track of them all because they're always texting and sending messages and Instagram and everything else to each other all the time. And like I said, they're over medicated. It's just crazy. So I'm not going to bore you with the details, and I'm not going to spend a lot of time this week going on about Dementia Joe and the stupid stuff he said. But he let the cat out of the bag day before yesterday. I'm sitting there falling asleep, 3 o'clock in the morning. I wake up. It's like live from Japan. It's Tuesday night, or Monday night. And they have a news conference because in Japan it's like, 5 p.m. Japan time. And I'm watching him, and he says, oh, yeah. So they asked him about inflation and specifically gas prices. We had the clip at the beginning and the end of the show, thanks to Philo. And we had to wait through the whole news conference to get a cheesy video of it, but it worked. And but he come out, he let the cat out of the bag and said, that's it. We're transitioning to a whole new paradigm or whatever. and, to this wonderful green, glorious future. Well, yeah, we should do that, obviously, but not overnight. It's killing people. I mean, literally. And everybody knows it, okay? Everybody. I had a kid come up to this morning, Terry. Had a kid come up to, he's going to run against Bobby Starr as a Republican for Senate up here. Not that a state senator can do much, but, they could at least work with Scott to slow down these friggin' progs and Dems from the rest of the state. I said, it's a start on there. God bless you. His name was Sam. He lives right behind me on Pleasant Street, North Troy. Good kid. But he's running as a Republican. And you would have never seen that, not even 5-8 years ago. But because the Democrats have left such a sour taste in people's mouth with all the stupid crap that they've done, it started with Obama. Remember, he was going to fundamentally change America, or whatever he called it. Yeah, we're going to fundamentally change the United States. No. If somebody hands you, it's like, we used to joke in the old days about swamp Yankees, right, Philo?
Yep.
My dad we'd be out driving around. I used to go places with my dad all the time. He had a circuit of old friends and stuff that he grew up with, and their parents and relatives. And we'd just go driving around and hang around, visit people. And this one guy, this old guy named Bill Holden, we used to get our sheep from him down in Shirley. He was like a half-assed retired farmer, and he lived on this rock farm. But anyways, my dad used to single out swamp Yankees. And what happened is these people, where they would have a beautiful 100, 200, 300 acre farm, and they would leave that farm to their kids, and the kids would be just dissipated or drunkards or womanizers or whatever, and they would just keep selling off chunks of the farm until there was nothing left but a piece of swamp land with a trailer from the kids of the people who had originally started the farm in the old colonial house. Those were swamp Yankees. And that's what's happening here. We were left a perfectly good system, and this bonehead comes in. Oh, I asked Todd to print it up. Damn it. He didn't say anything about it, and I didn't see it anywhere. But I got the executive orders, the first executive orders he signed the first friggin' day in office, where he canceled the Keystone Pipeline and just practically shut down our oil industry overnight. And you can see in the damn press conference with Tokyo, he's saying, well, and we're begging, asking OPEC and the Middle East partners, energy, to produce more output. It's like, no, we were doing that here. The Saudi Arabians won't even take his friggin' phone call, and Russia's off the charts, thanks to those Putin's boneheadity, and it's like they've thrown the whole country in reverse. And what do we need right now? Fertilizer. The cost of fertilizer, NPK, the 10-10-10 you see at the hardware store, that they buy by the truckload for farms. Commercial fertilizer has quadrupled in price or more, along with diesel fuel. Every tractor in this country runs on diesel. Every harvester, every truck, every delivery truck. And the fertilizer is made from natural gas. So what did he do? He stopped the fracking. Was the fracking perfect? No, okay? But states had made them clean up so that they wouldn't lose methane when they were drilling and fracking. They made them clean it up. The United States extracts oil and gas cleaner than any other country on the planet. That's why you don't see natural gas venting out of oil wells when you drive through Pennsylvania or Ohio, and that, because they capture it and sell it. They're wasting it when they flare it off and burn it. But oh no, anyways, threw the country right into reverse. And then he opens the borders, and here we are right here. This is from the Epoch Times, and you can see this. I'm going to try this with the one cam. Thanks, Philo.
Hold on a second. Just hold it right there, Steve. I'm coming up on it, and I got it right there.
You can see this at epochtimes.com. This is one of the only news outlets. It's run by a bunch of Chinese ex-communists. Thanks, Philo. They're ex-communists, man.
That's us.
Really, I was telling that Republican kid today when he was getting signatures. I said, I'm going in to do the TV show. I've been doing it since 2009. I said, when we started this show, we were so far to the left we called it Comrade Steve. But then our party went so far to the left that we're now considered conservatives now.
Yeah, moderate conservatives.
Yeah, and he said, well, there's nothing wrong with conserving things. I know. I said, especially the river. I said, I've seen what they did to the river in the past 20 years with this dairy farm, large fouling operations. They've ruined the river in 20 short years since I've been up here. So anyways, Biden's using parole to release illegal aliens en masse. Now, why are they allowing 100,000, aliens a week or whatever? It's insane. It's just insane. And you can see these guys. They're posing with their government-issued phones, and they ask them, "Well, can you please show up? We're going to give you a hearing date. You can show up." And I saw this thing on the midday news, Philo, on CAX, where they said in Middlebury they want to have illegal aliens join the police force. It's like,
wasn't there a city that wanted to allow illegal aliens to have the right to vote in city elections?
Burlington, yeah.
I thought it was. Yep.
Yeah, Burlington.
Leave it to those guys.
And Brattleboro. Crazy. Anyways, it's just nuts. It's just nuts. And so they wanted these guys to join the police force in Middlebury. And it's like, wait a minute, you can't do it. It's like, no, you can't do that. First of all, they don't speak English.
Oh, that's going to go over big.
Yeah, if you're not speaking English, then what the hell? Good, I think you'd have to at least be bilingual. So anyway, so we get to the article.
They're probably bisexual.
Yeah, trisexual. You're like men, women, and animals.
Hey, we tried this, try a little bit of that, and try something else.
Yeah, that's why we wear the sheep boots. So, they're using parole, and they're releasing them en masse, and
well, that always killed me, Steve. Was they wanted us to wear masks, but they come across the border, no mask required,
no mask,
no big deal, no vaccine mandate, no problem.
Yeah, no, everything. We'll just give it everything to you, and it's like a third of them don't show up, Philo.
Yep.
You can parole them for a year, so they can take care of whatever issue they are dealing with, and you can let's see, 47 out of 104,000 of one wave that they let in, only 47,000 reported within 60 days as required. And now Biden wants to get rid of Title 42, which sends them back. Anyways, the 1952 Immigration and Nationality Act, Congress mandated that all inadmissible and illegal aliens must be detained until their status is determined. Oh, and you see the guy they got in Florida? He was on the terror watch list, yet they let him through anyways. And then they said, he's like one of 42 in the last batch that were on the terror watch list, and then they realized the old crap moment, and it's like it took them 2 weeks to run this guy down in Florida, and then another one was an Iraqi who was going to try and kill George W. Bush. He had a plot where he was bringing in other Iraqis over the Mexican border to kill W. You're gonna kill W, damn it!
They were lucky they didn't get shot by the cartel while they were down there.
Oh yeah.
See, you don't look like us.
They refused to detain migrants as required by law, and failed to remove innumerable people who have no right to be here, abusing the parole authority, and released tens of thousands. Said Chip Roy. He's one of the few. And it's like, where's the Republicans? Why don't they stand up for this?
The Republicans, it was stated on Tucker Carlson one night, the only thing the Republicans have been interested in is getting us into that war in the Ukraine.
It sure seems that way.
That's what they're interested in, so their buddies at Halliburton can get more contracts.
Oh, speaking of which,
You have a contract with Halliburton?
Yeah. In the regular paper, of all things, they mentioned the fact that they're going to send this 40 billion. Joe Biden just sent the 40 billion to Ukraine, and that was on Sunday in Sunday's paper. And then it's like, oh, by the way, in today's paper, after they sent the 30 billion, in today's paper, thanks Philo. In today's paper, they come out and say the polls show that something like 60% of the country didn't want them to send it.
Doesn't matter. They do what they want.
Yeah. Well, what happened was that Steve Bannon, no matter what you think of Bannon, the guy looks like he crawled out of a dumpster.
I think he did.
Yeah, but damn it, he's a brilliant guy. He made a lot of money after he got out of the Navy. I don't know if he was a SEAL or whatever the heck he was. But he has the War Room, and there's a bunch of other conservative sites and people, people who don't believe the lies. And they were telling him, here's the switchboard number, call him up. Tell him you want to talk to McConnell's office. Tell him you want to talk to your senator. And what happened was, last week, they overwhelmed the switchboard at the Capitol.
Finally.
Yeah, with phone calls. And it was so bad that Mitch McToydle wouldn't answer the phone. They just left it off the hook.
Probably should have had his wife do it.
Yeah, really.
She'd have kung fu'd them.
You talk about beholden to China. Mitch McTurtle owes every penny he's got to the Chinese.
Yep.
And his wife, Elaine Chao, like Philo says. Yeah, this is
do you remember the time that guy tried to attack Mitch and she went after him? Remember that? Oh, she knuckled a guy.
Well, heck the hell, he wasn't going to do anything.
Yeah, I think they're going to make a movie called Kung Fu Justice.
Yeah, no kidding. With COVID funds low, USC's rationing risk. White House faces tough decision if Congress doesn't okay more money. This is baloney. Here's another lie, right? First formula flights arriving this weekend. They're turning this country into a third world country with the formula stuff. It's crazy. Thanks, Philo.
I saw a good one, though, Steve. They said we didn't have this problem when men were men, women were women. Now we've got men becoming women, and now there's a formula shortage.
Oh, man, yeah. All that chest feeding.
Must be. I'm not sure what it is here, but...
It's crazy.
Yeah.
So get this. They're talking about rationing COVID something or other. Biden has been warning for weeks that the country spent nearly all the money in the $1.2 trillion American Rescue Plan that was dedicated directly to COVID-19 response. Never mind how many millions and millions and millions were stolen by people, just flat out stolen.
Yep.
A small pool of money remains as they face critical decisions how to spend it. It means tough decisions, like weighing whether to use it to secure the next generation of vaccines to protect the highest risk population. There are no next generation of vaccines, because here it's become like the flu. It changes, it morphs, mutates so rapidly.
It morphs, yeah, you're right.
There are no next generation, they're not working on any. This is a lie. By Zeke Miller from the AP, so you know it's a lie. and given priority to a supply of highly effective therapies that dramatically reduce the risk of severe illness and death. There is no more serious illness and death, hardly at all, because so many people have got it. They even mentioned that on the news today, too, that in New York State, they're still pushing vaccines, and they were saying that, there's so many people, that have it, but so the cases are up, but they're not showing any symptoms because they've already been exposed to it. It's like, what? If they're not showing any symptoms, then it's not hurting them.
There are some people that I was speaking to my friend Frank today. He lives over in Underhill.
Yeah.
He should be afraid of the COVID. He should, because he's had I don't know how many stents put in his heart, and 2 or 3 other things, and diabetes. So he's got to be careful, but that doesn't mean the rest of us have to be scared all the time.
No, and there are a certain percentage of people, snowflakes, who want us to wear masks and prophylactics and everything else because they have a kid or something that's, got immuno problem. What the? No, that's not the way the system works. Keep them home if they're that fragile, Now, let's see. Here we are. Jaha. Oh, yeah. Dr. Jaha. Dr. Ashish Jaha.
Irish, huh?
Yeah. Oi. He's from Ireland by way of India.
Okay.
He's the White House coronavirus coordinator. Painted a dark picture. We could be forced to see many of the advances we've made.
Dark pictures.
Yeah, and even most vulnerable could face supply shortages. These people have blown it. They blew it. They blew it, Billy. Forced to cede many of the advances. Oh, please. There were 680,000 or more doses that were given to third world countries that aren't even being used because the third world countries are saying, no, we don't want them. Not that mRNA stuff. No, thanks. And let's see. Jaha, has warned that without more money, vaccines will be harder to come by. Tests will once again be scarce. They're giving them away at the drugstore as I speak. And therapeutics that are helping the country weather the current Omicron surge in cases without a commensurate increase in deaths could be sold overseas before Americans access them. They're not selling them overseas, okay? And we told you last week about the Pfizer thing where they where Pfizer, the math didn't work out. They wanted I don't know how many billion for this new plan in next-gen vaccines, and it worked out. They're charging us $20 a dose now, and with the money they wanted, they did the math, and it came out to $250 a dose. So it's like, wait a minute, somebody's yanking the gherkin here.
I had just got my shingle shot, the new one. Wall hog charges $200, case charges $240.
Good God, man.
Yeah, and you got to pay it because my insurance has a deductible.
Unbelievable. Anyways, the scenario, I think we've seen it all. We would remember when Biden came out last summer or whatever and says we're looking forward to a dark winter of death.
Well, it missed him.
Yeah.
I'm not saying any more. That's all I'm saying.
I think we'd see a lot of necessary lost life. We're looking at all the scenarios and planning for all of them. The scenarios we're planning for are things like what Congress gives us no money and we don't have adequate vaccines. In a May 12th interview, we run out of therapies. We don't have enough tests. What might things look like? Obviously, that's a pretty dire situation. Here's the nut. Drug manufacturers and the FDA are working on evaluating the next generation of vaccines and potentially including ones that are targeted at the dominant Omicron strain. Again, by the time they develop it, the strain is no longer...
Well, they've already got the substrains of it already.
Oh, and next week they'll be different.
Yeah.
By getting them ready before the predicted case surge in the fall means placing orders now, since it may take 2 or 3 months to produce. A congressional deal for a slimmed-down response package of about $10 billion fell apart in March over Biden's plans to lift virus-related restrictions on migration at the borders, the Title 42. The Republicans, thank God, they arm wrestled them into doing that, and the court spanked them and said, no, you can't get rid of that. If you're telling people they still have to wear masks on planes, you're telling people that you can't be in the Army or in a government job unless you get a vaccine, then you can't yank Title 42 because, things are either as bad as you say they are or they're not as bad as you said. Which is it? You can't have it both ways.
They wanted it both ways.
Oh, yeah. But a federal judge on Friday put that plan on hold just before it was to take effect on Monday because they want to back them up, bring them in. We want all the new orders we can get. Now you talk about the great replacement. Yeah, you wonder why? And here we are. Let's see. The funding intended to support the Ukraine through September. Now, where's the plan? What happens after September? Will they have won the war by September? And what does winning look like? Don't we have a Pentagon and military planners that are supposed to like do this stuff, Terry?
I would thought so, but hey, look at what they did in Afghanistan and Iraq. My goodness, what the heck was that all about?
Well, you see, Joe tried to blame that on the Pentagon, and the Pentagon came out and said, no. We warned him. We told him we war gamed it out. We told him what it was going to look like, and he just directly violated, did the opposite of what we told him, because that's what he does. You could follow Biden to Las Vegas and just bet on everything that he bets against. You'd probably win. Everything he touches, like Obama said, never underestimate Joe's ability to F things up. Yeah. Let's see, the funding intended to use through September. It dwarfs an earlier measure that provided $13 billion. So between the $30 billion we just gave them and the other 30, we're up to $54 billion. And like we told you last week, they only allocated $30 billion for roads and bridges in the American Rescue Plan. Oh, okay, great. The new legislation will provide $20 billion in military for weapons. $8 billion in general economic support. $8 billion in general economic support. That's to pay pensions. And like we told you last week too, how many of the younger folks are going to ever see any pension or Social Security or anything? Yet we're paying for the pensions for in welfare for what the hell? Okay. And last but not least, next to last, $5 billion to address global food shortages that could result from the collapse of the Ute agriculture, and more than $1 billion to help the refugees. The logistics reflects such an urgency around continuing U.S. support, also overlapping international challenges facing Biden. Oh, yeah. And yet, okay, so that was in Sunday's paper. And then, after the money's been okayed and sent down the pipeline, U.S. economy should trump punishing Russia, according to the polls. Huh. Wow. Really? And again, by these AP Biden cheerleaders, you can see them waving their pom-poms on TV. Americans have become less supportive of punishing Russia if it comes at the expense of the U.S. economy. Yeah, you can't afford to put gas in your car. You can't afford the groceries and stuff. Our supply chain's falling apart faster than a cheap cable knit sweater. And but we're going to send the money to the Ukraine. Okay. Well, broad support for sanctions hasn't faltered. Opinion on prioritizing sanctions over our economy has shifted. It's now 45% of adults say the U.S. say the bigger priority would be sanctioning Russia, and 51% is the limiting damage to the U.S. economy. Yeah, okay. Because see, now they break it down in the end. Most U.S. adults say the U.S. should have a role in the war. Let's see. All right, 32% say the U.S. should have a major role, while 49% say a minor role. All right, now 44% said they favor sending funds, 32% are opposed, and 20% neither favor nor opposed. So we're looking at 55% versus supposedly 53% versus supposedly 55 versus supposedly 49%. What the hell? Yeah, I don't think those numbers are right, Philo. I think the majority of people and other polls, if U.S. people have said, no, you got to take care of us first. You know, that whole America First thing under Trump, like America First, like like you take care of your own family before you help out people on the street. What the hell? Unbelievable. And here we are. Oh, they're returning illegals, Philo.
Where are they returning them? Do they have a deposit on them?
Yeah, they're being redeemed. I'm being redeemed. Well, unfortunately, the illegals being returned are being returned to Ethiopia from Yemen.
No kidding.
Now, how bad does Ethiopia have to be that you would go to war-torn Yemen to have a better life? Jeez, man.
I don't. I'm speechless.
That's going to be pretty bad. This is from today's paper. 6,750 Ethiopians trapped in the Yemen war. They're not trapped. They just want to get out of Ethiopia.
Yeah. I would too.
6,750 migrants from war-torn Yemen to their home country in the recent months. It appealed for $7.5 million to assist in their return. The UN's International Migration Organization transferred more than 600, including 60 unaccompanied children, to Ethiopia on 3 flights. More were planned between Yemen's capital port city of Aden and Ethiopia's capital of Addis Ababa. Okay. Oh, and the Brits, I guess the Brits are, every time we want to look at what happened in Afghanistan, the media and the Democrats are saying, you don't want to look backwards. No, let's look forward. That's over and done with. It's old news. Well, the Brits wanted to make sure this doesn't happen again, so they had a commission in the House of Commons to look into what happened, what went wrong, right?
Yeah.
UK lawmakers criticized absence of an Afghan evacuation plan. London today. Let's see. Britain's withdrawal from Afghanistan was a disaster and betrayal, hampered by a lack of leadership from senior politicians and civil servants. At the House of Commons committee report released Tuesday. The committee criticized the Foreign Office for the total absence of a plan for evacuating, despite knowing that such an evacuation might be necessary, compounded by the fact that there were seemingly no clear lines of leadership among political leaders, the committee said. Oh, you think? You think? But we're not going to look back at it because, that's old news.
Yeah, they tried to bury Vietnam.
Yeah. Well, we knew from the beginning that Tonkin Gulf resolution was a pile of garbage.
The thing was, Steve, when I was growing up, there was not the information available, so we didn't really get to hear all the garbage.
Well, there were underground newspapers at the time, but you had to subscribe to them. And they accused one of being anti-Semitic, of course, because you couldn't criticize Israel no matter what. And that was the Spotlight. And the Spotlight ran, my father used to get it, and a couple of his friends. And it came in the mail, like the Epic Times, once a week. And, God, he had bundles of copies that I wanted to save, but they all got thrown out when my greedy relatives cleaned out don't get me going. But anyways, they finally canned the Spotlight, and right before 9/11, Philo.
Mm-hmm.
Yep, the last issue went out in July of 2011. And you know how they did it? They infiltrated the board, just like with Twitter and other companies, a hostile takeover, and they killed one of the few opposition newspapers. Well, it wasn't just them; it was the internet too.
Mm-hmm.
Well, because by 2000, damn near half the country was on the web. And let's see,
I didn't get on it till '98.
Yeah, I got on it right after we moved to Pennsylvania. CompuServe.
I remember them.
Yeah, and you had to dial. It wasn't even an 800 number. You had to pay long distance charges to get your phone hooked up to the server. I mean, it was a shaft, dude. It was a shaft.
Yeah, originally back in Springfield, there were a couple of different competing internet providers.
Yep.
But you had to pay $1 an hour to be on the internet.
And then if you got a picture, it would remember line by line?
Yep.
Unbelievable. Because I remember I started selling my antiques on eBay around 1998, 99. And it was so low tech. We didn't even have digital cameras. Were so expensive. I would take a picture, a Polaroid picture, put the Polaroid in the scanner, upload it from the scanner to my eBay site, and then you could see it and people would bid on it. It was crazy. And here we are too. I see they had a debate. I think it was Digger put on a debate, and they asked the candidates for lieutenant governor about big wind, And you remember, Philo was my cameraman when we interviewed Dave Hallquist. He's now Christine Hallquist.
We don't get us started on that one, please.
Yeah, we interviewed.
We did like you did it once with Ray and twice with me, right?
Yeah.
We did 3 interviews with him.
3 interviews while they were planning and then installing, constructing the wind farm in Lowell. And one of the questions I asked him, I don't know if you remember or not, was if they were going to open up the service road so that people could get up there and count the dead birds and bats, right? And because we had lost so many bats, I even asked him if we could take the dead bats and test them for mercury, because there was so much mercury coming from coal plants in China that it's getting into the bugs, because the bugs suck in the rainwater, and the bats eat the bugs. And we thought, me and Ray had a theory that the white nose syndrome in the bats was probably caused by their immune system going kablooey because of all the mercury.
It wasn't cocaine.
No, it just looked like it.
Yeah.
It just happened to look like a Kennedy, Your Honor. It was down in Hyannis. It was a late party. So anyways, this is from the Epic Times also. Wind farms wreaking havoc on wildlife and local residents, right? You won't need to see this. But get this. The largest U.S. windmill operator was ordered to pay $35 million in fines and mitigation and restitution fees for not for killing 150 bald eagles, Philo, but for failing to pay the fines. Failing to pay the fines or mitigation for killing the eagles. Here it is. ESI Energy reaped federal tax credits for generating wind power while killing multiple eagles without legal authorization and without paying restitution or compensatory mitigation. So it wasn't because he killed the birds, it was because he didn't pay us to kill the birds. How's that look working out, right? Oh, yeah. The charges, which included 3 counts of criminal liability, were brought against the Florida-based company by the DOJ under the Federal Migratory Bird Treaty Act. However, Lieberman said it wasn't for killing the eagles, but for failing to get the proper permits to do so. Ain't that the government? Like Reagan said, we're from the government and we're here to help. That's the 9 worst words in the English language.
That and some assembly required.
Yeah. Call this 800 number. According to the American Bird Conservancy, 3 billion birds have been killed by windmills since 2019 alone. Now that's only 2019, all right? Now how many, I had a list here. There's 65,000 acres, what is it? How many windmills are there? Okay, so we lost 3 billion birds were killed by the 68,000 wind turbines that exist in the U.S. currently. And according to the American Clean Power, which promotes wind farms, wind power is the 4th largest source of electricity, producing 135 gigawatts, or it could power 42 million homes. But only if the wind's blowing. Again, if there's no sun, if there's no wind, or you might have a little bit of hydro, but you're not getting that base load. And if you don't get the base load, like at night, it's like anybody who knows who's been in a sailboat out on the lake, after 5 p.m. you hit the doldrums and you're paddling home, Jack, unless you got a trolling motor or a motor in your sailboat.
The bad thing about it is, though, Steve, it isn't the fact that if the wind blows or not. We don't have the infrastructure to keep the juice flowing. It overloads the grid.
Yeah.
And we haven't upgraded the system to take all that juice, or we'd be fine.
Yeah, sometimes they just shunt it and lose it.
Yeah, they have to. They've overloaded the grid.
Oh, here we are. There's a lawsuit against the Michigan governor for the COVID-19 losses. It's moving its way through the courts. Finally, the lawyer said that the forced closures weren't based on solid scientific proof that bowling alleys and family entertainment centers would spread the virus any more than Walmart or the General Motors plants that were allowed to remain open. Again, I hope these lawsuits succeed so that this never happens again.
Yeah.
We can't let them do it ever again.
Well,
right now, what are they doing, Philo? They're in Geneva. Did you see that Leahy? I'll send you a link to the article. People have been calling Leahy and saying, look, don't get us into this World Health Organization thing. They're trying to shove us into that fan.
Yep, the CDC is even worse, though.
Oh, yeah.
They're even worse.
You think the CDC's bad. Well, what happens is the CDC is going to actually cede authority to the WHO with Tedros Ghebreyesus, whatever his name is, that big-headed Ethiopian guy.
Yeah, but when they when they were talking about another quarantine, the WHO said don't do it. The CDC said yes, do it. So luckily, the WHO was on the right side on that one.
Yeah, but they completely blew it when they said there was no human-to-human transmission.
I know. Yep.
And the masking, too. It's a joke.
Oh, I got into it at Dartmouth last week right at the front desk. They wouldn't let me walk in with my mask on. They made me wear one of their paper masks.
Crazy.
And I said, are you joking? I said, really, are you joking? And the woman got all upset, and it's like, when is this kabuki theater going to end?
Yeah, it's a masquerade.
Yes, it is. You're right.
And there's a trial going on right now as we speak, where Robbie Mook, whatever his name is, who is this Mook, huh? This Mook who used to work for Hillary. He let the cat out of the bag and said that Hillary was the one that okayed from the beginning this Trump-Russia thing, and then her lawyer, she paid the law firm. The lawyer went to the FBI. First, in the CIA were like, no way, this is baloney. Trump doesn't have any server in his tower that's hooked up to the Russians. This whole Alpha Bank thing is baloney. Well, what happens is the Hillary campaign, they leaked it to the FBI, which did know better. The CIA said we don't want it, and the FBI knew better, but they still went ahead with it. They lied to get the FISA warrants. All this stuff, it's all coming out now in Durham's trial. And you see anything about it? Oh no! When Roger Stone supposedly lied to Congress, and all those other guys, Papadopoulos and Carter Page. Oh, it was night after night, and yet these guys. They're showing that they went after Trump for 5 friggin' years for absolutely no reason at all, and they wasted all that money on the Mueller investigation, and the FBI could have stepped forward at any time and said, look, we looked into this and it was baloney, but they didn't. Why? Because they didn't like Trump. It's insane. So the cat's out of the bag. The CIA determined in 2017 it wasn't technically plausible, and they were user-created and not machine tool generated. The secret back channel just didn't make sense to us. And I think the person who drafted the paper was suffering a 5150, which is California speak for a mental disability.
I know. So that's where Van Halen took it from.
Yeah?
Do you know that's when they recorded? They used to have a studio in California called 5150 Studio.
I'll be damned.
Yeah, Van Halen.
Is that where that came from?
And they didn't become popular, though, until Sammy Hagar took over, and you can see why.
Yeah.
He's a crazy guy.
Hellman said he would have made clear, no. He said he wasn't aware that the other agents were calling it a DNC paper. Oh, sure. So, what the hell? So, we found that the FBI conspired against the secret police. Let's think the American Gestapo conspired with the U.S. press and the Democrats to go after a businessman that the American people wanted to be president because he was an outsider. If that isn't insane, what the hell does it say? Oh, here we are too. Yeah, here's your money at work. Now, we told you about Judicial Watch. The NIH executive received 70 secret royalty payments on royalty for drugs that you and I helped pay to be generated. Thanks, Philo. Generated by our tax dollars. And this, again, if this goes to Judicial Watch, who they did a FOIA request, and then NIH and the CDC said, no, we don't know what you're talking about. We're not going to give it to you. So they had to do a lawsuit. 2 key NIH executives in positions of influence on decisions about who gets grant money through the agency received a total of 77 previously undisclosed royalty payments from pharmacy companies between 2010 and 2014. That's 77 payments in 4 years, Philo. Just 4 years. It's crazy. The secret royalty payments, first reported by Epoch Times, found thousands, estimated to total at least $350 million, paid between 2010 and 2020. Yes, in 10 years. $350 million in 10 years. Former NIH director Francis Collins received 14 payments. And we wonder why he just resigned last winter, Philo. Had to spend more time with his family, don't you know?
Yeah.
Oh, sure.
Excuse me.
He was on TV playing guitar. Somewhere after the pandemic, I'm going to buy a bank now. Unbelievable. Let's see. He got 14 payments. Fauci got 23 of them, and Clifford Lane, as chief deputy, got 8 payments. Okay, this was Open the Book, so you can go to openthebooks.com or openthebooks.org.
I wonder when they're going to try another gain of function.
Funny you mentioned that's in here too.
Gain of function research. Sorry.
Senator Marsha Blackburn, a Republican from Tennessee, called the NIH a dark money pit. They covered up grants for gain-of-function research in Wuhan, so it's no surprise they are now refusing to release critical data regarding allegations of millions in royalty fees paid to in-house scientists like Fauci. If the NIH wants to keep spending taxpayer dollars, they have a responsibility to provide transparency. Ted Cruz, and no matter what you think of Ted Cruz, what did they say? He has a face that you want to punch. Senator Ted Cruz said, this report is so disturbing. If true, some of our country's top scientists have a conflict of interest problems, and the American people deserve to have all the answer. Of course, it's a direct conflict of interest of scientists like Fauci to rake in $350 million in royalties from third parties who benefit from the grants that he gives out. Oh, sure. And why is this man still working for the U.S. government, people?
He's got the right person.
He's got the right knee pads.
Yeah. He knows the right bureaucrat to be in bed with.
Open the Books is a Chicago-based nonprofit government watchdogs. Let's see. Yeah, here we are. The NIH initially ignored Open the Book's request until a nonprofit filed a FOIA lawsuit in federal court. At that point, they agreed to begin producing the documents in a series of monthly bundles or tranches. But who paid the 70 royalties to Gottsman, the amounts, and what purpose they were for isn't known, since the NIH is redacting payment amounts and their identities from documents. Oh, okay, we'll give you the documents, but we're not going to show you who paid, and how much they paid. What? What the hell, man? The Epoch Times requested from NIH the names of the payers of the 70 payments and the amounts, and they haven't responded yet. Unknown players were made to Roger Glass, for international research. Glass was appointed to the post in 2006. This is insane, man. This is insane.
Well, we know that, but you got to have some of this here. Besides, if Washington, the people in Washington told the truth, they'd be out of work.
This has got to stop. This has got to stop. A California judge struck down the law that forced companies to appoint women to corporate boards. Excuse me, not women, people who identify as women. So if you had a board of directors, you had to have X amount of women, or gender balance. It wasn't remedying discrimination. Yeah. Okay then. Oh, Remember we told you about the actuaries showing that all-cause mortalities have been going up since the vaccinations?
Yep.
Yeah, mortality among white-collar workers jumped 24% between 2020 and 2021. These are the dead peasant insurance policies that employers take out on their own employees. So if you go to work for, like, say, Wallhog, and you die, Wallhog gets your life insurance money. Not your family, not your friends. No, Wallhog gets it because they're paying the premium. This quarter was exceptionally devastating for age groups 25 to 34, 35 to 44, up to 64, which went from 25 to 34, we're up 81%. From 35 to 44, 117%. And 45 to 54, 108%. And last but not least, 55 to 64, 70% increase.
Okay, last but not least.
Wow, that's insane. Yeah, well, man, and hours rolled right by, and hopefully we'll have our engineering problems worked out by next week's show. And
I can't blow you up this week.
Yeah, we're gonna lose our special effects, whatever they are. And here we are, pre-K. They're pushing this again. Last but not least, let the kids be kids. Okay, I read through this whole article, and it's more studies for more money to start kids. It's like, my God, man, you thought that 12 years of school was enough for most people. No. Now they want pre-K, which is like 3 or 4 years, plus 12 years again, and then another 4 years on top of that for college. When do kids get to be kids, Philo? They don't anymore. We'll just have them all learning on their screens. Once again, you wish to appear from good hours. You like watching the stupid show. Hopefully we'll see you again next week. Inshallah. Good Lord willing, the creek don't rise. So until then, get down on your hands and knees in the men-only mosque. Sniff the bum of the guy in the man dressed in front of you, head east towards the rock, the meteorite Mecca, and go, Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar, Akbar.
You don't think I've done this before? Come on, man. You want to talk tough with Joe? This is not my first rodeo, all right? I've been on this dance floor before. You dance with the one who brung you, right? You put your right foot in, you put your left foot in, you put your right foot in, you shake it all about. You do the hokey pokey. Come on, man. That's what it's all about. Get out of my face.
To the gas prices.
Good.
We're going through an incredible transition that is taking place that, God willing, when it's over, will be stronger and the world will be stronger and less reliant on fossil fuels.
Right.
When this is over. You see what Europe is doing relative to the importation of Russian gas. You see
Baby, you don't know, man, you hate me so. I love my baby with red dress on. I love my baby with red dress on. I'm gonna shake it all out, darling. I'm gonna have more fun. Yeah, with baby, baby. Come on, baby, I want to be happy with you. Love you, baby. I got what I do. I love you, baby. God knows I do. We're gonna shake it out. I'll be what I'm trying to do. Yeah. Baby, 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 baby. Oh, baby, I love that way you walk. Yeah. Want more money, too far to show. Need to get rid of that. Go, step on my blue suede shoe. Baby, do the family off my blue suede shoe. Back it up, start to fry. Fresh sheet wipe my baby now. I gotta go and mean that shame to me. Knock down my pants and double me to me. Yeah, coming on, baby, whole lot of shaking going on. Coming on, baby, whole lot of shaking going on. We're thinking, whole lot of shit going on. Well, shake it, baby, shake. But shake it, baby, shake. Shake it, baby, shake. Shake it, baby, shake. Well, I love it, baby, I love when walk to me, go. How, ooh, yeah. Wow, yeah. Ooh, babe, I love that way you walk. How, 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 how. How, 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 how. I'll shake you right now. Knock you off your feet. Whoa, baby, I got a crazy. Yeah, yeah.